Meeting for Monday, August 15th is called to order. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2 is roll call.
Roll call. We'll start with Mr. Glufelty,
Here.
Mr. McNally,
Present.
Mr. Long. Here. Ms. Roscoe,
Here.
Ms. Jemingson,
Here.
Mr. Crover,
Here.
Mr. Bobade, I'm here, and our Honorable Chair, Ms. Freitag.
Here. You forgot Frederick.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Mr. Frederick.
Here.
My apologies, sir.
Item 3 is approval of the agenda.
So move, Madam Chair.
Second.
Who's second? You did.
A second.
I have a motion from Mr. Gladfelty, supported by Mr. Frederick, to approve the agenda as submitted. Any discussion? Mr. Gladfelty.
Yes.
Mr. Frederick.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
Mr. Crova.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Ms. Jamison.
Yes.
Mr. Boboade.
Yes.
Mr. McAnally.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the agenda is approved. Item 4 is approval of the minutes, excuse me, of the regular Planning Commission meeting held on July 18th, 2022.
So move, Madam Chair.
Support.
Who's support? Okay. I have a motion for Mr. Crova, supported by, excuse me, Mr. Bobade, to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Discussion?
Yeah, page 7 of 8, under my name for natural resources, it states Sunday, the 18th will be Environment Day. I'm not sure if that was recorded incorrectly, but that's Unity Day, so I don't know if, Carol, there's a way to check that, but that's not Environment Day, it's Unity Day, and that's the third day of our Pumpkin Festival. Okay, say it again. It's Unity Day, and I'm not sure how that got there.
Unity Day. Okay.
So we need to amend those minutes?
I'll go in and change it right now.
Okay. Are we all set? Not yet. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Mr.
Oh, I'm
Kroger,
sorry.
would you like to approve the amended minutes? To approve the amended minutes as, any other discussion? Mr. Krova,
Yes.
Mr. Bobade,
Yes.
Mr. McAnally,
Yes.
Ms. Jamison,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Gladfelty,
Yes.
Mr. Frederick.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the minutes are approved. Next, we have comments from the public on non-agenda items. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak on something that's not on our agenda tonight? We will move right along, seeing no one. And first, we have item 6 is a public hearing. It's RZ 2022-002, Romulus Development LLC, Salvation Army property. And you are requesting a proposed amendment to the City of Romulus zoning map to rezone 18.37 acres from RM multifamily to M1 light industrial. And is the petitioner here?
Yes.
Is there a remote right there? Yep. Oh, wait, that's the,
Not that one?
yeah, there
This
should
one.
be, yep, try that. There you go.
Perfect, thank you. Good evening, my name is Jim Butler, I'm with EA Group. Our address is 1849 Pond Run, Auburn Hills, Michigan, 48326. We're here on behalf of Romulus Development, requesting the rezoning of an 18.37 acre parcel, which is located on the south side of Van Born. It is east of Middle Belt Road. The parcel is currently zoned RM1 multifamily. It's our understanding that the reason for our current RM zoning was due to a residential use that was previously proposed as a part of the Salvation Army development. The subject parcel is surrounded by our M1 zoning, which are currently owned by the applicant, as you can see on the current zoning map that's on the screen. The future land use map of the city of Romulus denotes the subject parcel as RM1. In order to develop this parcel in the future, the applicant would like to rezone the parcel from RM to M1 to allow for a potential industrial development. And if you look at the primary areas around there are industrial developments in and around that area as well. The proposed use of this property is multifamily, will have a little impact to the surrounding area. The Middle Belt Road and Van Born Road are designed to handle an industrial use on this site. There are ample sanitary, water main, storm, gas, electric to accommodate the use. Since the requested rezoning of the subject property is consistent with the city's master plan, we respectfully request a favorable recommendation of this board for approval of the rezoning from RM to M1. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Since this is a public hearing, should I go ahead and open that portion? Okay. I'll open the portion of the public hearing. Let the record show we have on file an affidavit of first-class mail. If there's anyone here who wishes to speak on this subject, please raise your hand. When you're acknowledged, come up to the podium and give us your name and address and your comments. Not everybody at once. Seeing no one, I will close that portion of the meeting. And I will turn it over to Carol, you or either one, or turn it right over to commissioners.
I don't think we have anything to add. We did, what prompted this is we did, actually, I just said I didn't have anything to add, but I'll throw it to you.
Right.
Anyway, I think it's kind of in the letter. We did get an inquiry about reoccupying the warehouse component, and that's what sort of triggered this whole thing. We knew at some point the property would need to be rezoned since it was multiple family. Because the warehouse on the property was an accessory use to the whole rehabilitation facility, we couldn't just grandfather it in and process a reoccupancy. So they're in doing what they needed to do, get it rezoned, and then after that we'll work on the reoccupancy accordingly. There will be, the city certification inspection. There will be a change of use type review that we're pretty comfortable we can handle all administratively, that there won't be anything from there that warrants coming back to you guys. So the one thing that we did look at and had OHM look at as well as MKSK was the traffic. And if you had any questions on that as to why a traffic study wasn't required, a lot of times I know you see them at rezoning at this stage, but Jessica, maybe you want to explain that a little bit, the difference in the...
Right, normally we wouldn't have a
Right.
traffic study until we have a site plan.
Well, right, unless you needed the traffic study to help with your determination on the rezoning.
Oh, right, that too,
Right.
yes.
So,
Comparison analysis was done based on the existing zoning, which is the RM1, and then the proposed zoning of M1. Looking at that comparison analysis, we didn't feel that there was a need to do a traffic impact study at this time. It doesn't trigger the thresholds in the zoning ordinance at this time. However, upon reoccupancy or upon a site plan which would be proposing the two buildings that they are proposing for at a future date, that's when we would take a look again at the use and the tenant and see if a traffic impact study is needed at that time. But we didn't feel that one was needed above and beyond the comparison analysis that's in the packet.
Great. Thank you. Mr. McAnally?
One thing I remember is that was a commercial, as far as retail sites. We had people always coming in the back, dropping off in their wares, and people in the front always buying in and out, shopping. So there was a lot of traffic generated on that corner with this. The other comment, so I have no issue with the rezoning myself because the whole area is what this is. But I do question what will trigger a site plan versus a reoccupancy, because it sounds like a reoccupancy, we won't see it, but a site plan we will.
So what's going to happen, for example, to lease that warehouse space, that's going to trigger sort of a combination, change in use, reoccupancy. And what we're going to look at is, as part of the change of use, is there everything there that needs to be accommodated for the particular tenant that goes in that needs to be accommodated? Why we're talking about traffic. Let's say, for example, they submit something and it's a tenant that's in there that's going to be one of our favorites, the Amazon 3rd Mile facility down on Hannon. That would trigger something. It would trigger the traffic impact study, and with that, there could need to be some improvements that need to be done before they can occupy. So if there was then improvements that needed to be done that fell under that threshold of what you review versus what gets reviewed administratively, you may see it. Certainly when they want to build, they showed a general concept plan of 2 industrial buildings. Certainly when they start taking things down, adding new things, you'll see that. You'll definitely see site plans for new development.
I'm more concerned with traffic flow through the property and all that kind of stuff.
Right, that's what we'll be looking at as part of this change of use, reoccupancy administrative stuff. And again, if it triggers anything that requires coming back here, you'll definitely see it.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to make a comment. I was by there Sunday evening around 7 o'clock, and you would think traffic would be kind of slow that time of the evening. I went in both driveways, the Van Born and the Middlebelt driveway. Getting out of those driveways on a 7 o'clock on a Sunday night was pretty tough. And it was late in the evening. I was surprised how much traffic was there. I was also surprised to see the outdoor storage taking place over there. I didn't expect to see that.
Oh, really?
Yes, there was literally some automotive racks to me.
Oh, maybe somebody in the audience can answer that. I'm guessing the owners may be here.
But I'm a little concerned also about the traffic. Monday through Friday is going to be much worse than Sunday evening at 7 o'clock.
Can maybe one of you that know about the outdoor storage let us know what's going on?
You're talking about way in the back?
Yeah, on the backside off the Van Born, there's a lot of automotive racks in there and stuff.
Right,
Stuff we
right,
haven't
yeah.
approved.
I'm not quite sure if the concern is the traffic that's generated by the prospect tenant that might be occupying the space. Is that the concern? Sir? I'm sorry.
Could you tell us who you are and your address for the record?
My name is Jacob Okal. I am a partner in this Romulus development thing. And and we are here to, as you know, rezoning of the property that was described by Mr. Butler. And simply that the use that proposed is there's a need. There's a prospect tenant that's interested to occupy it, as been described. And we are here to seek your approval.
So what's the outdoor storage that's out there now that he's mentioning? Is there something stored on the property?
To be honest with you, we have changed not much at all other than cleaning the weeds and weeding the property, cutting the grass,
Okay.
putting camera in case so will not be any vandalism. So there isn't much has been changed at all. Everything, it was left the way it was acquired.
No current business activity going on at this time?
We did some cleanup. We did some cleanup, took a lot of stuff that was left behind. And there was, I think there was anything to do with safety and fire. I think there was a few things were eliminated in a way of cutting, like I think the elevator is not working, that we are aware of. But there wasn't much activity done that we know. Storage was used for part of the building, but that was the extent of it.
These look more like automotive racks to me for automotive parts. They were scattered throughout the yard, and to my knowledge, we didn't approve anything like that over there.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not aware of,
I'm checking it on the aerials right now to see if we see anything, because they were recently shot. We'll send ordinance, we'll send somebody out tomorrow.
That's, one building is occupied.
I'm sorry.
The one building is occupied?
The building is occupied is, well, the one to be occupied is the former Salvation Army store, which was right next to the gas station at the corner of
Right,
Van Born
right.
and Middlebelt.
Right, well, today when I went out there, there were two R&L lighting, I think, trucks, vans out there, and they had the door open, and people were inside.
Yeah, so from time to time, you just to keep your eyes open that, so nobody will get into the building without us knowing, because I'm not quite sure if the alarm is sufficient to cover the whole area if somebody has a bad intention. But certainly, we check on it from time to time.
So there is racking out there. The aerials are showing that, so. We probably gonna need you to come in tomorrow and work with the building department to get some kind of temporary approval. We really, yeah, we need to get that resolved. Did you talk to anybody in the building department about starting to use the site?
I have not personally been. I have not been myself personally, no.
So I know I was working with your broker, and, you know, this goes along with what he was talking about moving in there, but we said, no, can't until you get it rezoned, unless you get some kind of temporary use or something, but.
I saw something in here about.
There is. You guys want to see it? Just pass that around. So,
Oh, yeah.
so that was July.
How recent is that area?
July 19th. Yeah, there's a lot of racking.
I didn't count, there's probably 50 or better.
That's not Salvation Army rack.
No. It's automotive racking.
Oh, no. There's a lot of it, too.
It's automotive racking. You know what it is when you see it.
Well, when I went over here,
This is Van Born over here on the side.
right, and I pulled in around the building.
Is that your intent for the property, is auto
I could
repair?
see things back there.
We have not, other than cleaning the property, we have not done much of the property, to be honest with you.
So where did the racking come from?
Yeah, there it is. That's it. So that blue racking?
So the question I'd have is, where did all
I
the
didn't count
racking
at
come
this point.
from?
I'm sorry.
All the racking that's outside right now, where did that come from?
Truly, I am not sure, but I'll check into it. I don't know.
So your company, your people didn't bring that in?
There is a management company that cares for the property, as I said. There is a regular contract with a landscape and grass cutting and shrub removing that we do. Other than that, that's about the extent of it.
Through the chair, I have a comment on the traffic.
Go ahead.
So I work right there, and in the past 4, 5, 6 months, the traffic has gotten a lot heavier on Middle Belt Road. I think a lot of that has to do with, first of all, Inkster Road, and people are taking Middle Belt, and 275, because I know even a lot of the people that work with me, the different routes they're taking to get into where I work. And I'm right at Ecorse and Middle Belt. And I've seen a lot more traffic, and I believe a lot of that has to do with people trying to get around all the construction. I think that will possibly, when we get the construction under control, especially Inkster Road, and to, that strip of 275 that gets you to 94, because I see a lot of people getting on 94, or they're getting off and taking that way down into the airport. But I think that should clear itself out soon. I doubt soon, but I think that's where a lot of your extra
We hope
traffic's
soon.
coming from.
Push for winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Everybody's trying to get around everywhere. And then, right now, Ecorse Road, there's certain ways you can't get on Ecorse Road right there at Inkster.
Right.
From Inkster to Middle Belt, it's just a complete mess everywhere over there.
That one section is one
Beverly's
way.
shut down right now.
Yeah, and Beverly. So I think that's where you're getting all your extra traffic on Middle Belt, especially on a weekend like that.
Well, I was through there about 2:30 today, and Middle Belt was horrendous.
Oh, yeah.
I sat at the light for Middle Belt and Van Born, probably 3 lights before
And
I got
it
through.
wasn't like that 4 or 5 months ago, 6
Right.
months ago. Because I go out at lunchtime there at 1 o'clock-ish, and it wasn't like it is now.
And they do have detour signs. They show you, this is the detour for this street, and this is the detour for this. So,
Yeah.
yes, hopefully it'll clear itself out.
Madam Chair, I have a comment
Go ahead, Mr.
through the
Crowell.
chair. One thing I do see with this property is it is unique because at one time it was zoned C2 and M1 in 1993. And it does bring something to the table. It is a unique piece of property. Now you want to revert back to that original zoning. Just a comment.
Madam Chairman. Just another comment is that tonight, we would just be making a recommendation to the city council, and then they would have the final vote on this.
Yes, for rezoning.
And you will be doing some investigations between whatever we do tonight and before it goes to council.
Yes, we will have this outdoor storage issue resolved before the city council sees it. Because I'm sure Celeste will tell them that it's there.
Madam Chair, I do have a comment
Mr.
or
Long, go
a
ahead.
question.
Now,
If they ask, I mean, but usually I get a couple of phone
phone
calls
calls.
when
Yeah, I'm
things are
sure we can
coming
get it
across
resolved, and
city council.
thank you for bringing it up, because yep, we don't want
Thank
to,
you.
we don't want to go into city council without it being resolved, so.
Mr. Long?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. Previously, the Salvation Army, when they occupied that property, there were residents living there in one of the buildings. Now, you would be, if granted the occupancy that you're petitioning for, that right there, the previous residence part of it, you would be giving that up with the, with that building, that other building next to the store. Are you aware of that?
I am not aware of any contract or any resident that is occupied the building or currently or in the past. So I'm not aware of any past history of who was there before.
Okay. So is that right, planner, if we grant this petition, the previous occupancy that were in there before when the rehabilitation or whatever residence, that can no longer be right?
Exactly. That current use is discontinued, so it's gone. There's, right, and as part of an M1 zoning, residential would not be permitted, so.
Okay. Thank you.
My understanding is that that portion of it's going to be coming down anyway.
Most likely.
Yeah,
Oh, that'll be
for
coming down,
redevelopment,
okay.
for more warehouse type use, for industrial uses, for what it's being zoned for.
I think this meeting is like a prep for the future, if that's where we see a lot of calls and interest
Right.
to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Frederick?
Just a comment and a question. So I guess this would be the petitioner. So if granted rezoning, what would be the timeline for taking down the buildings that were residential?
Of course, I mean, the prospect that would be occupying the building that is already existing and used to be a former Salvation Army retail.
Uh-huh.
The other part, we're gonna see and where the interest lies and what was the pretty much who would be the next occupier. Obviously, our plan is to build a larger building there that will accommodate a user. Until then, we would be working hard to see the right fit for the location.
Well, because I read in your notes here, where you have an intent to temporarily use a warehousing operation there that has nothing to do with residential. So what would be the timeline for taking down the residential portion of it?
Well, the plan is to convert, to change the zoning. And if we change the zoning to RM, that would be to accommodate, our hope to accommodate the next user for larger parcel of warehousing. That's our plan. And that's where we see from the brokers that we have hired that see the interest to be. And we would be fulfilling the interest in the marketplace. So that's the
So there's no timeline?
and not at this time. I couldn't tell you something I don't know.
All right. Now, just, I guess a comment through the chair, is in our report here, it says, in consideration of neighboring residential areas, the master plan further elaborates that light industrial areas should have limited outdoor storage and limited distribution trucking. Uses in this district must have less of an impact on surrounding uses and generate less truck traffic than other industrial developments. I guess, Carol, if we were to grant the rezoning tonight, how can we guarantee that we stick by this and don't get something more?
When you see a site plan, you're going to get a lot more information on what that future development is.
Right.
And that's when the traffic impact study will likely come into play. If it doesn't come into play with this, it could be as soon as with this proposed.
I know in the past when we rezone, so then let's say they sell the property, the zoning goes with it.
Right, exactly.
So we have to protect the city's interest in that regard. And knowing that it's not residential anymore, that's not going to happen
Right.
again.
Right.
So I just thought to make that comment. Thank you.
Nope, that's good, thank you.
I guess this basically won't come into effect until we actually start with the site plan, the amount of wetlands on this property.
Right, exactly. That'll come into play as part of site plan review. When they want to get into that area.
But that would be a matter for site plan.
Yep.
Madam Chairman, just a couple of more comments. So in general, we're looking at is, do we feel that this zoning is match what the surrounding area is? And it looks to me like it does. Now, whatever they decide to do with it, then I'm very hopeful that we get to scrutinize that thoroughly and make sure it's what we want. Oh, I mean, we'll do a conditional approval, it'll go to city council for final approval.
For the rezoning.
For the
For
rezoning.
rezoning.
And then a site plan, if the buildings are big enough, which it sounds like a new building may be, that could be a special land use. So that likely will too, if it's bigger than the 80,000 square feet, which it probably, at least on their concept plan, that's what they're showing.
Okay,
So,
I'm clear.
Any other questions or
Yes,
comments?
Madam Chair, I
Mr.
do
Lowe?
have one more comment in regards to this building that's still standing there. If the petitioner's wishes are granted with the rezoning, they could come in and that same building can be used to do whatever.
they would have to go through change of use and reoccupancy to
Okay.
use it for, and they could only use it for uses that are allowed in the M1
In
district.
the M1 district, okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
No other questions? Motion is in order.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we grant RZ-2022-002 Romulus Development LLC, formerly known as Salvation Army Property, the proposed amendment to the city's Romulus zoning map to rezone the 18.37 acres from R1 multiple family to back to M1 light industrial at 5931 Middle Belt, parcel 80-00-99-0020-703.
Easy for you to say.
I support.
Actually, we need to tweak that a little bit. This is a recommendation to city council.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, this is a recommendation. We're
So
not approving.
basically, instead of to
We're only
grant,
recommending.
basically, it's your recommendation to grant, or your recommendation to city council to grant.
So I'll change my language to recommend to city council to approve.
Support.
Comment.
Who supported it?
You got a comment?
Who supported it?
Mr. Long.
Mr. Long.
Mr. McAnally has a comment.
Go ahead, Mr. McAnally.
Subject to the 5 items listed.
Thank you very much. Subject to the 5 items listed in the planner's report.
Any other discussion? Alrighty, I have a motion from Mr. Frederick, supported by Mr. Gladfeldy?
Mr. Long. Mr. Long.
Oh, Mr. Long, I'm sorry. Gladfeldy. Long. To recommend to City Council the rezoning of RZ 22002 from RM to M1, subject to the 5 items that are listed on page 4 of the planner's report dated August 15th, 2022. Any discussion? Mr. Gladfeldy? I'm
Madam
sorry.
Chair.
Not Mr. Gladfeldy, Mr. Fredericks.
Yes.
You look alike.
Yes.
Okay, now Mr. Long.
Yes.
Now Mr. Gladfeldy.
Yes.
Mr. Grova.
Yes.
Ms. Jemison.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Boblade.
Yes.
Mr. McAnally.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We are recommended to City Council. Good luck. That's good. Alrighty. Next, we have old business, and we have no old business. We have new business, SPR 2022-024, extra lease parking lot expansion, located at 28350 Beverly Road, and it's a parking lot expansion for trailer parking. Parking, is the petitioner here? Oh, yes, there you are. Mike.
How are you?
Good. Didn't recognize you with the glasses.
Yeah, I'm getting old. Mike Brock with Hennessy Engineers at 13500 Reap Road in Southgate. First of all, I have to say that was one of the shortest public hearings that I've been to in front of this commission. Usually they're about an hour and a half, and I come up. That's good. That's good. Here tonight to, how do you work this thing? We have down here, there we go. We have, D&G Building Company owns a 4.88 acre parcel of land, which on this aerial is labeled the proposed parcel. And Extra Lease, which is kind of labeled the existing property right there, would like to purchase this parcel to expand their trailer parking. Now these trailers, they're all empty. All they do is lease the trailers to other trucking companies, so that the other trucking companies can move their cargo. So everything that's going to be stored on this lot and its existing property are everything's empty. So it'd be just the trailers. Parcels at 28350 Beverly Road. It's on the north side of the property. There's kind of a blow up of the parcel that we're doing the site plan on. So we're planning on paving, a good portion of the property, and then adhering to the new Wayne County stormwater ordinance, and putting a forebay and detention basin at the rear of the property that would outlet to an existing storm system. We are proposing a landscape screening berm at the front and the rear of the property. That would be landscaped with heavily landscaped with trees for screening of the trailers. We have a storm sewer system that goes through the middle of the asphalt parking lot. Here's kind of an overview of our proposed parcel, and with the existing parcel that would be the east. North is kind of to the left of the page. But these two properties would be combined, and The existing parcel we want to remain as is. It's a gravel parking lot right now that's functioning pretty well. And then he would add the pavement on the proposed parcel. And then we have a landscape plan. I believe we're slightly deficient in our trees that we would need to come back with another landscape plan on. Our landscape architect would take a look at that. But we do have the heavy landscaping at the rear of the property along the berm. We do have the detention basin landscaping and the front landscaping along Beverly Road. There's no buildings are proposed a part of this. The property would be fenced in. The asphalt. It's a parking lot. I guess with that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to go through them with you.
Yeah. Sure.
Should I change the slide? I don't know. You guys are making me nervous.
Look at all the parked trucks in this.
Yeah, I'm sure if it was up to the owner, those trailers would not be there. I'm sure he'd happily like them on the road and making money for them. This is probably I don't know, maybe during slower time.
Just curious, that's what I'm searching through here.
Yeah.
What is your proposed circulation to get to the new portion? Are you gonna be just driving up over the edge from the gravel onto the asphalt, or are you gonna have a circulation?
So we're not proposing any new curb cuts onto Beverly Road. Actually, there's one there right now for an old house that was there that we would remove.
Right.
And then, yeah, the pavement would be just paved to the lot line, and then they would just use the gravel and the pavement as the circulation.
But I'm saying as you cross over onto the new pavement, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay,
So it'd be at the same elevation, same height. It'd be just going from
For now.
gravel parking lot to the asphalt one.
Okay, so there's coming across.
Yeah.
I just picture it all being packed down, skidded away, and suddenly you've got a ledge that you're driving up over. Grading.
No, they would match. We would make sure the grading plan matches the asphalt and the gravel.
It's asphalt, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Scrova.
Through the chair, I do have a question. I see where you have screening where the new construction is, but you really don't have screening for the old construction because it complied for at the times.
Right.
But there isn't any type of plans, because you do have that residential just to the north of you, and now that this is being opened backed up, are there any type of plans for screening for on the north?
Not right now. Right now, we're just going to leave that existing property as is. There was talk about supplementing the front of the property with some landscaping that was previously there that was torn out of there because of the condition it was in. So we're planning on possibly putting some landscaping in front of the property, but we don't have any intent of the rear of the property right now.
Now, the large gravel parking lot, what about maintenance for dust control?
We actually talked about that, and that's one of the conditions that we would need to come up with a maintenance schedule for dust control. Right now, the owner of the property does water. They do have a water truck that comes in and waters the property down. And in extreme dry events, they do use a calcium chloride that keeps the dust down. Similar to what they use on, say, Harrison, the unapproved portion of Harrison.
I actually didn't drive into the property, so I couldn't see if there was trees to the north, but I think from the Google Earth images, there are some trees.
Yeah, there are a row of trees, and I do meet, I believe, the setback requirement over there. But there is landscape, I guess, there are trees and some existing shrubbery and underbrush and things over there that would remain.
Plus, too, I would like, you even mentioned it for your berm, to bring some more trees into your site plans.
Could we do subject to the administrative review?
To add, you're talking about extending that across the top of the north part of the existing?
I don't know if that could be done, but I was kind of curious if anybody from that subdivision was going to be in here complaining, but obviously no one did come in, so I don't know if
Well,
it's
they
a...
didn't get notified, so.
And I don't know, and I can't speak for the owner, but have you heard any complaints? Okay.
Okay, so you're talking about the old site, not the new,
Well, the new, they do have the
the
berm.
buffer and the berm.
Yeah, and I'd like to see more trees in that, but you did mention where they were going to put some more trees into the
Yeah.
berm area.
Yeah, there's a lot of, as you can tell by the aerial, there's a lot of existing trees on there right now, and our landscape architect didn't take into account the tree replacement. And we calculated, I think it was, 4 trees replaced per acre? Something like that, which would add up to about 20 trees, 20 additional
Yep.
trees.
I did see where there was a mention about the maintenance for the parking lot, the gravel parking lot, but you said that they are addressing that.
Yeah, we'll put it on right on the site plan too, I guess, a maintenance schedule as part of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Just one question.
Go ahead, Mr. McElroy.
Through Chair to Petitioner, I noticed under the OHM's comments, they said, encourage you to meet with Wayne County Permit Office so that you can get underway with what their requirements are that started.
Yeah, we haven't met with them yet. We wanted to, see how the commission felt about everything, but if we do get site plan approval tonight, that is our next step, is to submit to the county and to meet with them and get the ball rolling on their stormwater approval process.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Mr. Long.
and in regards to the FAA compliance, I don't know where you stand with that. Do you have any, do they have any interest with that?
I know there are usually 2 items that would come up with the FAA. If you're constructing a building, we have to do a notice of construction to them. So we're not constructing a building in this case, so we wouldn't have to, I guess, petition for that. One of the other items would be Wayne County requires a permanent pool in the bottom of their detention basins, like a 4 feet water area. And just to correct me if I'm wrong, but being this close to the airport, they don't want any kind of waterfowl attractions. So they do waiver that requirement so that we could design a dry detention basin.
And you just have to give them notice, right?
No, in this case, we wouldn't have to give them notice. That only comes into play with vertical construction, if you're doing that.
See something about a sidewalk in here? Was that on the other?
There, Madam Chair, if I may.
She's over here.
Oh, sorry. Over here.
You're too quiet. Yeah.
In regards to the sidewalk, they are proposing to construct the sidewalk in front of the proposed section. There is not sidewalk in front of the existing. However, if you go to the east, or I'm sorry, if you go to the west, there is sidewalk a couple parcels down. So it behooves the city to have it put in now so we can start filling in gaps.
So, I thought I read something about Southgate, about sidewalks. So the sidewalk is going to be here in front of the property, new property.
Right.
Sure,
Then there's nothing,
correct.
and then you go down a couple more spots, and it's,
And then it's in front of the residential again to the west.
so there's nothing either in front of Petula's.
No.
No.
Down the road.
Yeah, down the road, yes, it's way down
However,
the
we may be
road.
getting a site plan soon for
So what is the
phases 3
purpose
and
of putting
4,
a sidewalk
which
in on
would
that
get
one piece of property?
Eventually, we would be making a connection. There is sidewalk to the west, and I'm not sure what building that is. It's next to, is it Petula's? It is. There's sidewalk there. And then you would be connecting people down to Inkster Road. Bless you. Thank you. All of the major east-west city corridors are proposed for pedestrian facilities. So at some point along the way, there is a possibility to have Beverly have pedestrian facilities along the whole corridor.
So what we would do is, if we ever got another site plan, then we'd enforce it and just keep adding to them as we went through.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
basically then, he's putting the sidewalk on the proposed parcel.
Yeah,
Is he also putting it on his existing parcel?
No.
he is not.
No.
So it's almost like a sidewalk to nowhere at this point,
To right now, it is.
For today.
Eventually.
for today.
Eventually, as we move further west.
You could ask them if they want to put it on the existing.
Sure, Mike looks like he's thrilled. So you want to put a sidewalk in front of the building?
There is very limited space in between the right-of-way and the road.
I know.
In that area, it'd be difficult. But I'd like to keep it just in front of the proposed parcel right now.
And Madam Chair, and they're speaking of 33-foot of Beverly Road right away anyway, to be quitclaim deeded to the city.
Yeah, yep, if I can answer that. Right now, the properties are described to the center of Beverly, and the city has right-of-way, or they have rights over the northerly, or southerly 33 feet of the parcel. We would do a lot split and deed 33 feet of the right-of-way to the city. Is what we would along the-
Right. Okay, let's see, something else, another question.
That's one of the conditions, actually, in the letter, was the quitclaim deed of the 33-foot right-of-way.
I hate to say that, wouldn't even be your responsibility to put a sidewalk in. Keep thinking myself.
One more question. Chairman?
Go ahead.
Through the chair to the planner, this dumpster that must be added to the site, is that going to be located on the pad or gravel?
We don't know yet. It was just a condition that the building department had on there. Do you know any history about it? Did they get a waiver? Jim wasn't aware if they had gotten it,
I'm
why
not
there
sure.
wasn't one there.
There's a dumpster there, but it's without an enclosure.
Okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's on, okay. It's on the asphalt west side of the building. We just need to construct an enclosure.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Okay, so that'll be handled administratively?
Yes, oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Through the chair. Yeah, I have a question. What would the truck circulation look like with, so my assumption is you have trailers parked and you would have tractors come in and pull those trailers?
Yeah, you want to just explain a little bit about how the operations are?
My name is John Miller. I'm with Extra Lease, 7911 Forsyth Boulevard, Suite 600, St. Louis, Missouri, 63105. To answer your question, what you see on here, there are trailers are parked around the perimeter, and then there's circulation aisles in between. And so these trailers are all empty. if I may describe it, think about it as Hertz rent a car for tractor trailers. So our customers come in either with a tractor to pick up a trailer, or they're bringing the trailer back. So in that case, they pull in on the east side of the building, do some paperwork there, and then circulate to the existing trailer, connect to it, circle back out and go out the driveway. So what you see on the plan is how trailers would circulate.
Okay, so those curves indicate the circulation.
Right, those are just turning aisles,
Oh,
radius.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
And then,
Those turning radiuses that are shown on there, that's the template for the fire truck from the fire department. It'd be very similar with the, with the semis, with the tractors that go in there as well.
okay, and then the other question I had is, I mean, this is Michigan, we do get snow. Let's assume in the winter, we have all 86 spaces filled with trailers, and it snows heavily. Where are you designating to put the snow?
Typically, we'll plow the aisles to a corner, and that's what happens, wherever we have the room. Because we need to access the trailers.
Yeah, correct. Okay, yeah, that's all I got.
So on the addition, you're just having parking on one side of the addition? One side of the addition?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, just a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
And my first question is to OHM. On page 2, you mentioned paving. The plan includes a 140,500 square foot proposed 5-inch thick asphalt. But further down at number 14, it says 4-inch asphalt leveling course with 2-inch wearing course.
So the first paragraph is the discussion of what they are proposing, and our comment is that the ordinance and the engineering standards require 6 inches rather than the 5.
Okay,
So that would be incorporated in the last comment in Carol's proposed resolution.
Okay.
So,
I just wanted to clarify that. And then the other one here is lighting. Maybe the provided lighting plan proposes lighting poles to the south of the proposed trailer spaces. The lighting levels proposed are above what is outlined in the zoning ordinance. Well, exactly what does that mean?
the lighting as proposed has higher lumens than what is allowed. So part of the resubmittal for administrative review would have to be a change in the lighting plan.
Okay.
I can point out a couple of areas.
Yeah, and if I can interject.
Sure,
that
go ahead.
right underneath the light fixture, I believe some of them were like 15-foot candles, and I think it's a maximum of 10. So we would need to either raise the light fixtures or add other ones and reduce the intensity of those.
I kind of figured that's what that meant. I just wanted to get some clarification on that. That's all I have at this point. Thank you.
When you talked about landscaping, saying here, the green belt, that you're not in compliance, like the trees that you're recommending are too small?
Oh, I didn't hear.
The evergreen trees do not meet the minimum starting size requirements of 8 to 10 inches.
Right. It almost looked like a typo on there.
Oh, was it on the
Yeah, I
landscape
think
plan?
it was,
I must have missed that.
yeah, it was,
Well, we can have them.
yeah, you guys normally aren't.
Then you also talk about, for the truck storage landscaping, that additional screening may be needed.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard note that we put on just about every site plan
We do.
with trailers, we sure do.
Sometimes,
That's on there, too,
sometimes
that's
when
right.
they know that comment's on there, they put some extra trees in when they're finishing up, and it's all screened.
Well, actually, I guess that's in the recommendation, because that's,
Right.
yeah, okay, I see that
And
now.
that note is on the site plan as well.
Yep.
We always put that on there.
All right, any other questions or comments from anybody?
Yes. Yeah, through the chair.
Mr. Bavada?
So the current property that is, the property that is currently developed, I believe, is that the 4.88 acres?
No, that's the new.
The new one, okay.
That's correct.
So let's assume the one that is currently developed, let's say it can take, what, 100 spaces, or do you have that number?
I do not, I don't have that.
A lot, okay. So let's assume 100 spaces. Now we're going to add another 86 to it, so that would increase the amount of trucks that will be coming in and out?
I mean, potentially, if everything was to go out at once, but, I mean, I don't think everything flows out of there at once. There's periods where there's long-term trailer storage.
So our business, we rent and we lease trailers. That means per diem and long-term. So to answer your question, it depends on the time of year. We're a very cyclical business. So first quarter, a lot of trailers are idle. Second quarter, they start going out. By third and fourth quarter, you hit back to school, holiday season, everything's out. And then come January, they'll come back. So we have no prediction on what's coming. So this is just simply additional storage to the main parcel that we have.
Okay. And I mean, extra business is good, you know, it's good for the economy, it's good for everyone. I just want to make sure that if you're projecting more business, which would be more traffic, there could be potential of more trucks on Beverly.
Here's my canned statement that I say to planning commissions everywhere. We're not a cross-dock freight terminal. We don't haul freight, we don't break freight, we don't run 24/7. We open at 7 in the morning, we close at 6 at night. Our gate move activity fluctuates depending on what time of the year it is. Some days there may be a total of 5 to 10 gate moves, maybe the next day it's 20. Or, you know, I want to say that on average.
Right.
So it can completely fluctuate. Monday's usually busy day, Fridays not so much. It just,
And basically, that whole area is loaded with trucks.
Yeah.
it is, but, you know, once again.
No, I'm not saying it against you. No, I'm just saying, in
There are
general, the
trucks
whole
and
area.
trailers up and down that street all the time.
But it's not heavy residential down there either way.
No, right, no.
Correct.
And we've been there for 40 years.
Yeah.
Good.
Any other questions or comments? It is quiet tonight.
Make a motion.
Motion is in order. Whoever wants to go at it.
I'll make a motion to approve site plan for SPR 2022-024, extra lease trailer parking expansion conditioned on the 9 items listed in the planner's report, page 5 and page 6.
I'll support that.
I have a motion for Mr. McAnally, supported by Mr. Glotfeldy, to approve the site plan for SPR 2022-024, extra lease trailer parking expansion, conditioned upon the 9 items that are listed on page 5 and 6 of the planner's report dated August 10th, 2022. Is there any discussion? Mr. McAnally?
Yes.
Mr. Glotfeldy?
Yes.
Mr. Boisde?
Yes.
Ms. Jamison?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Krova?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Frederick?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. The motion is approved. Good luck, gentlemen.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Have a
Make
good
it pretty.
evening.
If you can do that.
TLC years ago. Leasing company. Been there a long time. Been there a long time.
All righty. We can move right along.
Yeah, he is. You know who the last guy was? That's John Rabon from D&G. D&G owns a lot of.
Okay, next we have number 9, PC cases involving advice or input from the planning commission?
Not tonight.
Nothing? You don't need our expertise for anything?
No, but I'll call you when I do.
Item 10 is reports on interest designation. Does anyone want to report on their interest designation? Mrs. Roscoe.
I don't have a whole lot tonight, but I just want to remind everybody that September is coming and Pumpkin Festival will be back. Bingo is going to be back this year. Of course, the Parade of Lights will be Friday night, as usual, and a lot of other different events. And it's going to be the 16th, 17th, and 18th of September. And maybe Edna would like to speak on Unity Day on Sunday. She has a lot more information on that than I do. So we did it last year. It was a great success, and we're bringing it back again this year. But other than that, I just want everybody to, come out. The vendors are going to be back. There's supposed to be more of them, and it's going to be bigger and better than it was last year.
We hope.
We hope. I mean, everything
sure
has
it will
opened
be,
up
yes.
a lot more, and people
Yes.
are getting out and about, so
Right,
we look
exactly.
for it to be better than it was last year.
Any other?
Just a quick question. Where's the bingo going to be held at?
I don't know. I think
I-
they're down at the senior building
No,
again.
it's not going to be at the senior center.
No, is it going to be in
It's going to be on the main drag.
Chamber's doing it, right?
In a tent or something?
Yes.
Intent, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Unless they
Just
change
curious.
it, that's the
I
last
didn't see
heard
where they
was-
were going to hold it. I just seen that bingo was back.
Yeah.
There's
So I
some hardcore
apologize for
bingo
that.
players.
I think it's great that they're bringing it out into the whole
Oh,
area.
yeah, because,
I've seen it.
you have to walk way over there.
And then, did you want to comment on Unity Day?
I sure do. Thanks, Celeste, for that intro. So, Unity Day this year is going to start at 9 a.m. We have partnered in with Kroger. Kroger's doing a 5K walk, and that'll be the track behind the senior center. And then from there, they'll mosey over to the historical park. They'll do worship in the park at 11:30 until 12:30. Festivities start about 1 o'clock. Bingo tent will be there next to the pavilion. They will have a tent. I think it's like a 20 by 40 tent. That will be there. We also do have a talent show this year. They're taking auditions. All the information is on our website, the Romulus government website, and with instructions of how to submit. I think we already have acts that have been submitted already. We have a MC, a DJ. There'll be a band there this year, just like last year, so they'll be there for part of the time. We'll have a photo booth, and as Celeste did mention, it will be a lot bigger and a lot longer than last year. We are partnering with a couple of the different businesses around the city, so making it a partnership for the community, which is why it's called Unity Day. So all stakeholders, businesses, council people, residents with businesses, which is really one of our focuses, because we would like for residents to support their neighbors versus supporting neighboring cities. So nothing against neighboring cities, but nothing like supporting your neighbor. So information is on the website, but yeah, it will be bigger and better this year.
Thank you. Anybody else on their interest designation? Okay. Item 11 is communications, and we have a project status report. And I do have a question for you. I received a couple of phone calls. The property across from the liquor store or party store on Huron River Drive, I guess still chemical plant?
Yes.
Right,
It's
yes.
all torn down?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what they're planning on putting in there?
No, I just know they're tearing it down. Yeah, there are demo permits.
Yeah, well,
Julie has been working on it.
someone said to me, that, well, that was a beautiful building. That building is older than dirt. And I'm sure probably the problem was to bring it up to code. It's probably cheaper to tear it down and rebuild
Yeah.
than it is to try to bring it up to code.
I'll check with Jim and see if he happens to know. He's out there.
Just
but we
curious,
haven't-
yeah.
there
Just
hasn't
curious,
been
they
any-
don't tear it down for nothing.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That's not free.
Yep.
No,
They're doing a good job, too.
Good.
There's been no impact on Huron River Drive whatsoever.
right, yeah. Yes. Any questions or comments? Mr. Krova, go
Yep, I
ahead.
do have one question. It was the Romulus self-storage, and the address was 37270 North Line, and they're planning on putting in a self-storage facility. So I entered that address, and they come up basically right by the fire station.
That's exactly it. It's a piece of property. W.H. Cannon, who's just down from there, had bought it for an overflow, like, plant material lot. They sold it, and there's a proposal in for some self-storage. We met with them once, right, and did an art review, and they just didn't have some things right on their plan, so they're back. I'm guessing, trying to figure it out. I did talk to them about, instead of the individual, the standard mini warehouse, maybe putting it in one building. They kind of like the idea of the individual buildings, but then when they got into setbacks and, two frontages, one on the expressway and one on North Line.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's taken up too much of their property, so I haven't heard from them since, since we met with them, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, those are narrow pieces of property
They
there.
are, yeah.
Thank you.
So, with regard to possible stuff for next month, Gateway may be back. They are, I think, Edna, you've got meetings coming up. We do have a revised traffic study in that we should get later this week. And you may be ready again. You may see it in September.
I have a question
Go ahead.
to the chair. Ecorse Road and Wayne Road are roundabout, is what I'm hearing?
The rumor's out there.
The rumor's out there.
Rumor's out
Good,
there.
I'm glad you're here tonight to explain.
So Ecorse and Wayne have been, that intersection has been redesigned by the Wayne County. It has gotten, I believe, it's in a stage close to final design going out to bid. It's a redesigned, realigned intersection with a right bypass lane. So that bypass lane is going to allow free flow traffic northbound from Ecorse northbound on Wayne onto Ecorse, which will help alleviate some of the pressure on that intersection. But then also you're going to have dedicated left turns with a signalized left turn phase. So that'll again help an expanded left turns. So no roundabout.
Okay, because that right lane's just going to be a go lane?
It'll be a go with a yield at Ecorse.
Okay, that's a great idea, but I've been hearing roundabout, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Heard today.
And that, of course, we're losing buildings in that vicinity.
Yes, there's
Yeah.
at least
All
one
of
that's,
them.
I believe has been approved for purchase right now.
Gotcha.
Roundabout, you end up in Ypsilanti accidentally.
All right, that sounds a lot more user-friendly. Because it's my opinion, I've been to England, and their roundabouts are huge. If you're gonna put trucks through it, it's gotta be like half a football field around to get everybody to move correctly. A truck should never touch a curb. And they always make them too small, like at Getty's in 23.
Yes.
Those are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Those aren't even big
Oh,
enough
yeah.
for cars, let alone 18-wheelers.
What's even worse.
So you
there,
can
when
certainly
go-
design roundabouts for trucks, but this intersection, they're using a traffic signal and they're just realigning and extending the storage lanes that are there.
I've heard this rumor about roundabout from like 3 different directions.
Oh, nope.
So, okay.
There, you guys can get the word out there.
Hopefully we calm the storm.
That's not happening.
How about
That's a
our friends
lover
over on
mosquito.
Goddard Road and Middlebelt?
Oh, you know what? I reported last time, back and building and ordinance are jumping on it. I don't know if they.
It's just
they may
ugly.
have- They may have issued a ticket. Shoot, I was gonna write that address down. But anyways, yep, building's on it.
The other comment I have, I see they're moving some dirt around on the North Point.
Yeah, I noticed that, huh?
Oh, yeah. I was through there today.
Good.
Yep.
It's a good sign.
Anything to add on that?
The pre-construction meeting for the underground utilities and the mass grading effort is tomorrow for North Point. But they do They are slowly but surely acquiring all their permits, so they do have their soil erosion permit from Wayne County, and they've started receiving materials and doing a little bit of clearing.
Fantastic.
Have you also, if you go down Mormon, Mike, you've probably seen it, but Genesco, frame is up,
Yes.
so on that next to logos.
I talked to a representative over there from Penske just about a week ago, because they've lost the telephone pole on the corner there of Warman 3 times. Now recently, they took the Penske sign out with a truck. The sign is destroyed. I said, we should have put that turn lane in. We should have done it. I wish I'd have pursued it a little harder now. And it's not their drivers, it's other outside vendors coming in there.
There is some more development coming that way, south of that piece. There's rumblings on a couple other things coming.
Okay. I got one more comment. These gentlemen here tonight, I didn't count the wrecks I seen Sunday evening, but I'm gonna throw the number at 100. It's pretty out to see, them are automotive wrecks.
Oh, if you look at the picture, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't pallet racking. He acts like he doesn't have a clue.
He wasn't very convincing to me.
I don't know how long I've been there, but as I stated earlier, and maybe Celeste is right about these traffic patterns, Sunday evening, it was terrible getting out of there. But I wanted to go on both driveways and just take a look at the property. It was impossible getting out of there 7 o'clock on a Sunday night. Shouldn't have been that bad.
Well, I'm really glad you went over there. We, being a rezoning, we weren't on the property checking things out or doing any of that. We knew that it was vacant. We knew that they were, wanting to come, but I'm disappointed that, because we had been in contact with them and, they were assuming everything was grandfathered and they could move in. And we said, no, got to get that property rezoned. So, that's very helpful because we would not want that going to council without, having it addressed. Let's just put it that way. I don't know if they'll be able to get in and do something temporarily or if they'll get it out of there by the time they get to council, whatever.
It's going to be interesting how they address the wetlands.
Well, and they certainly, at this stage, with just the rezoning and a reoccupancy, there is no need to do any.
Not until they build.
Yeah, not until they build.
That's what I meant.
It could impact their building. I mean, they may not be able to get as much as they.
I don't see how they could do very much with what they have.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem worth their while if they don't expand to a certain degree.
Yep, there is because there's 2 pieces of property, that are already M1 that they own. I think, what's the total? Is it a 30-some?
6 acres.
Altogether?
I think it's like 36 acres.
Yeah, altogether. And this is only
18.
18 of it.
18 of it.
Yep.
But, you've got wetlands here, you've got wetlands over here, you've got wetlands over here.
It's actually a nice buffer for the residential community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 18.37. It'll make it a total of 36 acres.
Right. See, I can show you.
They're going to be building
Something
something.
tonight.
Yeah, it seemed like they wanted to build another bigger warehouse there, and I'm like,
I think the specs that they gave us said 250,000.
50, yeah.
Yep.
That's for Van Born and Merriman.
So, see, they've got these 2 pieces here, and that's where it's wet over on that side. So the actual piece that you rezoned,
Never seen a petition
it was
not
just that, but then there's all that.
Right.
Yeah, already zoned.
What baffles me is when they say, oh, the market is asking for the market is also asking for multifamily. But you're hiring a broker only for.
Well, multifamily though would not probably go there in the future. I don't even know if they can reestablish it as multifamily because of the way it's conditionally put in.
Right.
As part of the auxiliary. So we couldn't really hang on to that one.
No, I mean, I'm good with the rezoning, but I'm just saying that, in general, we keep saying these are the demand areas.
Anyhow, we have meetings. Okay, good. Any other questions or comments before we move on?
Oh, I have something else, MAP, annual conference.
Oh, yes.
Mackinac, I emailed you tonight, all of it, you guys may have gotten it already, but if you're interested in going, please let us know.
When is it?
It is October 12th to 14th. Yep, the 12th to the 14th.
Yeah. I've been to like 2 or 3 of them now, and they're really, really interesting.
Edna's been going, hope you can go.
You going,
this year.
Edna?
No, Motor City Comic Book Convention is that weekend, and my daughter has requested for us to go, so nope, won't be going.
Oh, okay.
I like that.
But if anybody's interested, let us know. I think they are doing a virtual version of it too.
Yeah.
So,
Not the fudge.
but I sent you the information, I'll read it better as well. So let us
Okay.
know if you're interested.
Yeah, we'll do.
Alrighty. Anything else? Item 12 is
So move,
Adjournment.
Madam Chair.
Support.
who motioned?
I did.
Mr. Long.
Long motion, you support it? Motion, Mr. Long, supported by Ms. Jameson to adjourn. Mr. Long,
Yes.
Ms. Jameson,
Yes.
Ms. Robade.
Yes.
Mr. McAnally.
Yes.
Ms. Rasco.
Yes.
Mr. Krova.
Yes?
Mr. Frederick.
Yes.
Mr. Clapsalty.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, this meeting stands adjourned.